Yeah. The unknown man. The unknown man.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, I'm here with wonderful Mr. Isaiah today. We always have great, wonderful, organic conversations. Sometimes they get heated and passionate, but they're always educational. So, we want to share with y'all today a conversation we had a couple days ago, right?
Yeah.
It falls within the realm of limited beliefs. This conversation stemmed off of, which I'll go back and I'll put the video. It was based off of Joe Osteen, and he was talking about basically limiting beliefs and how people can throw shade on you or how they can limit you um, and hold you back. And sometimes you can hold yourself back. So,
Yeah. How people that you surround yourself with could really stunt your growth more than help or elevate you. They can anchor you down more than, but you, the flesh tends to want to keep certain people around because I've been knowing them all my life, or they're like family, or they are family, or what it may be. But sometimes those be the biggest ones that hold you back,
mm,
and a lot of times it don't be intentional. It's just they're not in your season. Everyone has their own season. Some come with my season and some don't come with my season. It's not personal. You know what I mean? But if God calls me to a season and he has made it very clear that it's my season, and that, Tina is not in this season right now,
mm-hmm.
it's not personal.
It
It's
ain't
not that I
personal.
don't care for Tina. It's not that I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
see her successful. But right now, God has moved me into a
Mm-hmm.
position. That position may be for Tina, in the future. But as of right now, I have to get in position. So once I'm in
Mm-hmm.
position and I do what's needed to be done on my end, then I can reach back and get Tina, or I can direct Tina or whatever. Because if not, sometimes it's the blind leading the blind, and like the Bible said, you're gonna all fall in the ditch. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
where that little piece of paper I just had?
what's that?
This one. Experience in a new light.
True.
And
Well,
that's what you got to do. Sometimes you have to have an experience in a new light without people that have been there because they're blocking your light. Oh, and before we move further, let me give my disclaimer that I normally gave that this is for entertainment purposes only, right? During the session, I'm gonna say reading because I'm just used to saying it, but because it is a read, it is a read if you tell them about themselves.
oh
Technically, it
wow.
is a read. Sometimes, I mean, it is what it is. During the reading, I may understand, you may not. You may understand, I may not. We both may understand during the reading, or we both may not understand during the reading. I'm going to ask that you respect our perspective, and we will respect your perspective as well. If the information that you're receiving is different from the information we're providing, it's quite all right. Please share the message because it may be for us or someone else. Right? Please do not use these readings as a form of therapy or advice. You've been blessed with the gift of discernment, so take the information you need and throw the rest of the shit away if you don't need it.
What she said.
So check this out. So we were watching Joe Osteen because, like I said, we have really great, wonderful, and organic conversations that sometimes, like I said, they get a little heated, but that's what happens when you have a passion for something, right? But on this particular conversation, just like when you watch a movie, people see different ideas and different perspectives, right? Um, he was talking about, I'm gonna say, not limiting yourself.
Oops, I'm
And
sorry.
so y'all saw that. That's on camera, right? So, but he was talking about that. But in the sermon that he was talking about, he gave several different examples. But the example that resonated with me was when he was talking about how there were monkeys that, because one monkey, how they say one monkey don't stop no show, but in this particular instance, the monkey actually did stop the show.
Explain.
Okay, so there was a monkey that was put into a cage, and um, there was a banana that was set in front of him, right? And so, of course, the monkey wants to go get the banana, but when he goes to get the banana, all this cold water splashes down on him, right? Scares him. So he's like, oh shit, like I can't go get the banana, right? Because there's something that's blocking, there's something that's stopping me from getting there, right? So they put another monkey in there. And so the other monkey is like, oh, shoot, there's a banana. And he starts going towards the banana. But when he starts going towards the banana, the other monkey is like, hold up. You can't go there because it's this cold water that's going to hit. And it don't feel good. It didn't feel good to me. And because it don't feel good to me, it's not going to feel good to you either. So you shouldn't go. So this monkey that haven't even had the experience, he's like, well, I'm going to just go along with what he said because, I mean, he must be right. So then they put more monkeys in. And each time they added the monkeys, they kept adding the monkeys, right? All the monkeys, whenever the other monkeys would see the banana, they would stop them. Like it became like a fight. Like, no, you can't go over there. All of this because of one person's experience, right? Now, I want to put an addendum on there because that's how the story ended from what I recall. Okay. But what would happen if one monkey came in there and was like, I see the banana, and all the other monkeys are like, nah, you can't you can't go get the banana because it's gonna be some water, some cold water that's gonna hit you. And the monkey is like, okay, so it's some cold water. But what's on the other side of that cold water is what I want, is that banana, right? What if that monkey was to just to go through the water comes, it hits him, and he's sitting on the other side eating a banana. Now it's some more bananas over there. All the other monkeys is sitting on the other side say, how did he get through that cold water? And then one monkey like, shoot, if he can do it, I can do it too. And so another one goes through the cold water. But the same monkey that was afraid, that had that cold water experience, that didn't want to go nowhere, he's sitting there like, no, man, y'all can't listen to, y'all can't do that. They're like, but he's doing it. He's over there eating a banana, bro. Right? Leadership has changed. You can have leadership that is for growth. That's like, you're going to go through a storm. You're going to go through a little adversity, right? But if you can go through that storm, if you can go through that adversity, what waits on the other side is a wonderful reward. But if you're sitting over here with these people who have limited beliefs, right? Like that banana that he's visualizing that he's never going to touch because he's afraid of a little adversity, right? Ooh, this is a good one. Afraid of adversity. Then you're going to be stuck with him. So now you have two sectors. You have the leaders, and he's a leader too, but he leading them to nowhere. He leading them to the land of no bananas. And if you're a person that wants bananas, you got to follow the right people. But somebody has to make that first step, right? And if you notice, I've talked to y'all about the Forrest Gump effect. If you don't know, I'll give you a little brief thing of that later. But he just made the decision. I'm going to go, right? And when you go, this is how you control people. You just do what you do. And they're so inspired by who you are and what you do that they follow, right?
True.
You don't, when you are a true leader, you ain't got to tell nobody, I'm a leader. You ain't got to tell. All you got to do is just watch the people follow, right? Okay, so I'll insert here the Forrest Gump real quick. For those of you that are too young and don't know who Forrest Gump is, don't worry about it. You can look it up. But this is the scene we're talking about. There's one scene where Forrest Gump was like, one day he just decided, I'm going to run. And they're like, where you running to? He like, shit, I don't know. I'm just going to run. And he just starts running. And while he's running, people are like, they laughing at, man, he running, he running. People laughing and he don't care. He don't give a damn. He just running. He do not care about people running and what they doing. He's just running, right? And then next thing you know, people like, damn, he been running for a minute. He been running for like half a day. He starts getting the attention of people. He's not asking for attention. He just being himself, minding his own business. He just running. And then somebody comes up and is like, hey, man, what you doing? He's like, I'm running. He's like, where you running to? He's like, shit, I'm just running, man. I just want to run. He's like, can I run with you? And he's like, yeah. So then he starts running. Then more people start coming. More people start running. Next thing you know, people are meeting. They dating. They getting married. They haven't been. I mean, everybody's doing all this stuff. And he's just running. And then one day he just decides, he stops. I'm talking about, this man have a beard by the time this thing going. That's how long he been running. One day he just stops and said, I don't want to run no more. I want to go home. And they're like, but what are you going to do now? He's like, I'm going to go home. Through him being himself, he didn't have to convince nobody. He didn't have to beg nobody. He just had to be himself, and all those people, because they followed him, they followed his dream, followed his leadership, they benefited. They got married, they had friendships, they started businesses, right? This is true control. Control is the power to influence a person or a situation, right? So the Forrest Gump effect is being yourself and watching people follow you. That's true control. You don't, you don't have to force nobody to follow you. So you want to have the Forrest Gump effect, much like the monkeys, right? That one monkey that came through the cage that I that one monkey came through, and what did he do? He was like, I'm going through this cold water, and if y'all want to stay here, you can, but I'm about to get the reward. I'm about to get what's due me. Now, when y'all see me get it, if you want to learn from me, you can, but if you, it don't matter whether you learn or not. I'm gonna get this banana. So what's up, Mr. Isaiah?
True.
What you got?
Though I walk through the valleys of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. You know, everyone has their own valley to walk through. Everyone has their own path. Now, what's in my path may not be in your path. You know what I mean? And from the outside looking in, you may say, "Ooh, look what he's up against." You know what I mean? But to me, it's like normal. You know, I cut grass as part of my living, as part of my business. Here in Oklahoma, they said Oklahoma, it was a thing on YouTube that said Oklahoma was the hottest place in the United States last week, 1 or 2 days in a row. 108 degrees. With the humidity, it was 113, 114 degrees. And I was out there cutting grass. And people was driving by, or some of the customers was coming out saying, "Baby, it's too hot. Just wait another day." And I just kept on pushing through. And then they would pay me and they would say, "I don't know how you do it." And I was cool with it. Because my tolerance for something may be greater than your tolerance for the same thing. Does it make you weak? No. Does it make me stronger? No. It just makes my tolerance in that area greater. Now, God has given us all different levels of endurance. You know, some are greater than others in areas and some aren't. You know, but with the monkey situation, you're right. You know, one man's fear he has put on other people, and they went to trust him to say, "Hey, don't go get the banana." So then the third monkey comes in the cage. So now it's 2 against 1. So a person says, "Well, that's 2 people telling me that not to go get it. So I'm gonna trust and believe in these 2 people." So then the fourth one comes in, and 3 is telling him. So you know, the more and more people that is telling you don't do it, the more you seem convinced that, well, if 9 people are saying don't go get it, don't go get it. But then you have that one monkey to say, "Man, I ain't listening to y'all. I'm hungry. I ain't never experienced cold water. I don't know what it feel like, so I'm gonna have to experience it for myself." And then he goes and says, "Oh man, that ain't nothing. I can take that. Give me this banana." And the other ones is like, they looking at each other like, "Why didn't we do that?" You know what I mean? So, you know, with that being said, you know, now, like you said, leadership has changed. People are starting to look to that one monkey that says, "Oh wow, he's allowed us to go and have the confidence to feed ourselves," when these other monkeys, you know, which, like I said, after 1 monkey, 2 monkeys, 3 monkeys, the second monkey is gonna look at the first one that told him, because now he's helped convince. He's gonna be like, "Dude, you got me fucked up." You know what I mean? This and that. You scared of a little water? For example, a real live example is me. You know, I've had people in my life that wanted me to travel and experience the world, but I'm afraid of an airplane. I've seen them in the last 2-3 years get on them, get off of them, get on them, get off of them, and I'm still scared. And I've seen firsthand, hey, I've seen pictures of them on the plane, and now they're back in my presence. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, Isaiah, but you can't convince me of that. So a person around me would say, "Hey, man, let's go fly." And I'm going to be that one first monkey say, "We ain't flying. It's scary. You can die. This is that." And so I'm that first monkey in that situation. But
Or
in
actually, maybe the second monkey, because somebody had to tell you was afraid in order for you to be afraid.
Golden did, you know what I mean?
Don't talk about my boy right
Golden
there.
told Isaiah, and Isaiah told
No, he
Ike, and
did
Ike
not.
told Ish. Yeah, it went all the way down through the chamber of command. But you
Yeah.
know, it's you have people in life like that that because of their fears,
Mm-hmm.
they'll hold you back, and you will automatically begin to have a fear of something that you never experienced. I've never experienced flying, but because of someone else's experience, I built a fear of it. You know what I mean? Life is full of that, you know, especially when you're at a young age of a developing mind,
Yeah.
which you're never too old to learn, but at certain ages in our lives, our minds are really developing, which is from like kindergarten to elementary, from elementary to junior high, from junior high to high school. These are life's different experiences that we see before we indulge. When you're in elementary, you know, you see kids a little older than you that's in junior high, you hear the stories. Meaning when you make it to junior high, it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To give an example, when I was in elementary, I had a couple of friends older than me. They said, we go to school, we have locker boxes. I'm like, locker boxes? Like, yeah, you get to put your stuff in your own locker box. I'm like, in our school, we got a desk. You just stick your stuff under the desk.
Yep.
In high school, you got a locker box. So I'm like, I want to experience this locker box.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get to junior high, I was like, whoa, I got my own locker box. I'm going to different classes. I don't sit in one class all day and learn 5 different subjects in one class. It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a whole different experience.
You got to change
You know what I mean?
classes.
Exactly.
Don't have
And so
AB day.
my mind from a learning in one setting is starting to develop now where I say every hour I go to a different class. So now my mind is developing. That's a stage of life that, you know, and I'm turning into a teenager. You know what I mean? So my mind is absorbing and it's growing. Then you get to high school, young adult age, your mind starts growing again and with new experiences and it starts absorbing. So there's different levels or different stages in life that our mind develops. So when you have these people with these developing minds, you keep in mind that if they look up to you or admire you, that you have to set good examples because the examples you set are the ones that they're going to take into consideration and follow. You know what I mean? If they see you doing, they're gonna, you know what I mean? If they see you doing good, then they're gonna do good. You know what I mean? So we have to take into mind. And then you have some people that me and Tina spoke on this earlier. You got the worker bees and you got the queen bees and the king bees or whatever, you know. And the worker bees, I mean, their mind has developed. They're content with being just a worker, you know. I don't mind getting up every day, going to work for the man or for whoever, and then getting a paycheck at the end of the week and coming back. Then you have some that says, hey, man, I want to work for myself. I want to be my own leader, my own boss, my own worker. And I want to, you know, strive to do better, you know, and maybe have people work for me. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to own your own. You know what I mean? God said he blessed the child that has his own. You know what I mean? It's okay to work. I'm not saying don't work. But if you have a passion in your heart to be the boss, a dream, then do it. You know what I mean? Then do it because America has sold you a dream. And what's the way that you can dream? Sleep. So America came up with the slogan, the American dream. Let's keep them asleep so that they can dream and only dream.
Okay,
You know
we're
what I'm
going
saying?
into another.
But I mean, no, I'm just saying, you know. So I'm telling the people to wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, man. If you have a dream, make it a reality. Don't just dream it. You know what I'm saying? Take a chance. I mean, all you can do is fail.
You know, the worker bees are not risk takers, though.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
Yeah, the worker bees are not
They're
risk
content.
takers.
I just said they're content.
Yeah, they're not inspired. So
Let's get back on the subject. Okay, with this same video that Tina had sent me with Joe Osteen, before it spoke about the monkeys, because Tina thought I was going to comment she asked for my comment on the video, and I gave a comment on trees and the shade that the trees put off and not the monkeys. And she's like, I didn't pay that much attention, but I, gave her some insight on it. And the scenario inside the video that Joel Osteen sent was that he and his wife had went to some little national park. They had these big cactuses, and they were 30 feet tall, nice, formally shaped cactuses. And he was like amazed. He was like, wow, I'm astonished at how big these cactuses are, how healthy they look. Then he went down a little bit and he seen some of the same cactus, but they wasn't as big and strong and everything. And he asked his wife, he said, these are the same cactuses, but why aren't they as big as these? And she said, because of that tree right there. And he said, what does that tree have to do with it? She said, it's casting shade. And everything needs light to grow. Like that little thing Tina just showed, a new light. You know what I mean? If we cut the light off in this room, we'll be in the darkness. There's not a lot you can do in the darkness. You need light. So light helps you grow because you can see and you can do things. But to get to the part I told her, now, let's not get it wrong. Shade is a good thing. If it's hot outside, you go find you some shade. It's a little cooler in the shade and the wind seems to blow a little bit. And you be like, woo, that's cool. Shade is not a bad thing all the time. Shade can be good. Okay. But too much of anything is bad for you. Too much of anything is bad for you. So shade has two levels to it with me, two definitions. Really more if you elaborate, but two definitions. And the example I gave Tina was surrender. The word surrender. To me, it's two definitions of one word, or two examples of one word, not definitions, but examples. I can willingly, keyword being willingly, I can willingly surrender to Tina and give 110% to whatever it is that we're doing.
Like now.
Because I'm willingly, I want it. I surrender. I give up. I surrender. No more fighting, no more this and that. And we do what we got to do. That's the beautiful one. Then you have an ugly surrender, which is when you're forced. Keyword being forced to surrender, like in war. You know what I mean? You're forced to surrender. That's when someone is forcing you to do something that you really don't want to do, but you do it in order to avoid the punishment or the argument or the discord, the discourse or whatever it may cause in your life, the strife in your life. You just do it. So you don't give 110%. You only give just enough to keep cheat off of you. You know what I mean? Your friend says, man, what you washing your wife's car for? Cause man, I don't want to hear her mouth. You gonna do the tires? Nope. You gonna clean the inside? Nope. You just gonna wash it? Yep. Cause she's forcing me to do it. You know what I mean? So I'm doing just enough where she said, oh, my car look good. You know what I mean? And that's it. But then you look at my car and the inside is Armor All, the tires is shining because that's something I willingly surrendered to. You know what I mean? I gave 110%. So I hope that's a good example as of the two surrenders. So shade is the same way. Shade can be a good thing. Like I said, it can block you from the sun. It can give you a couple of degrees cooler weather, temperature, you know what I mean? And it could bring shelter, you know what I mean, from rain. You can stand up under a tree and not get hit by hail or whatever. That's cool. But that same shade could also hurt you. Because if you look in a lot of people's yard that have a big tree, if they don't have a certain grass up under that tree that can grow in the shade, then you'll see it bare up under there. It's
Growth
only
is stunted.
dirt. Yeah, the grass has not grown. You know what I mean? And you look outside the perimeter of the shade and the grass is green and healthy and everything. But up under that tree, there's no grass because the tree has blocked the light that grass needs to grow. And so in black folks' terms, Girl, he throwing shade on me. You know what I mean?
Church finger.
Yeah.
I'm going.
He throwing shade on me. So that kind of shade is a bad shade, not a good shade. Because that shade is what the tree is doing to the grass. It's stunting the growth.
Stunting the
We
growth.
call it hating, but the nickname for it is, girl, he throwing shade, which girl he hating, you know what I mean? Because you tend to hold people back. You tend to say things that will make other people look at them in a different light. Light being the key word again, because the shade, there is no light. And then, you say things that are hurtful and harmful to them in their own growth and for people around them to see them growing. So the not nickname, but the nick term, that we say nickname, the nick term for hate is throwing shade. So the tree is shading and throwing off shade, like I said, in a good way, because it's giving me some coverage or whatever. But at the same time, too much of it will kill me out. So it's okay to have a little shade in your life, but you don't want a lot of shade. And if you have people in your life that are throwing shade or that are trying to shelter you and shade you so that you can't get any light and growth, those are the people you don't need around you. I mean, whether they be family, Tina's favorite quotes of family, friends, sexual relationships, or
I did not
romantic
say
relationships, or whatever. Some little
I
things.
said family, friends, co-workers, and romantic mate.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Whether it be one of those, you cannot allow them to continue to hold you back. You must, come off and under the shade, you know what I mean, and start getting some light in your life. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, it's okay to have a little shade, but too much of anything is bad for you. But that was the example I got when he said this cactus over here isn't as big and strong as these cactuses over here. That's because this tree is throwing shade on this cactus. And there is no shade on these cactuses. That's why they're big and they're strong and they look beautiful. And these over here look weak and docile. You know what I mean? Because of the tree. Is the tree doing it intentionally? Probably not. But that's what it does. So that's what I use that. I said that to say that some of your family members, co-workers, romantic mates, or whoever, they may not believe that they're that tree. Yep. That is casting the shade on you.
And the whole time, shade.
But they are.
Because that's what their belief, like the first
exactly, their belief. And like I said earlier, sometimes you have to go into your valley of the shadow of death, which is your path that God has given you without them. Sometimes God calls you to a path or a season. And I'll be like, come on, Tina, let's go. God's calling me. But God, like, I ain't say Tina.
Right.
I said you.
Yep.
But I'm like, but that's Tina. That's my, I said you. I got something for Tina. But she gonna have to sit down and listen and open her ears and her heart. And until then, you leave her right there.
Yep.
And you need to get over here.
Yep.
But a lot of us have passed our blessings up or miss our calling or our blessings because we want to hold on to something that our flesh is wanting us to hold on to, and we're not following our spirit. You see what I mean? Don't let the flesh hold the spirit back. You know what I mean? Because I may advance, and then once I get through that valley of shadow of death, because it tells me I shall not fear no evil. So once I overcome these obstacles that has been placed in my path, and I become the person that God has had me to become, endowed me to become or be, then I make it look back and say, hey, Tina, come here, because I'm already there. A good example is, if I want to get on top of this house that I'm sitting in now, it's a 2-story. And I want Tina to come with me. I can put Tina on my back and we can both struggle for about 5 months trying to get up there because I can't do it. Or Tina can trust me when I say, hey, stay right here. When I get to the top, and plant my feet firmly on the roof, which is a firm foundation up under my feet, I promise you, I'll reach down with my hand and pull you up. You see what I'm saying? But I can't carry you on my back because we ain't. If I do that, we both gonna stay down here on the ground.
You know what? I want to stop right there because I feel a second video. I don't know if I'm gonna get him to do it, but I feel a second video. I feel like another quick video about trust would be perfect. And I say that because based off of what you just said, I work with people that have a problem with that. Hey, Tina, I'm about to go up here. Just trust me for a minute. I'll be back. But that person is like the first monkey. Nah, I done went through that before. And then so now, because of what somebody else did, I can't trust you. I got a whole
that's everybody.
On that.
Everybody watching this video, we've all had that issue.
All
and
of
if
us.
they say you didn't, you a lie.
Yeah,
You know
even
what
me.
I'm saying?
But I
That's
tell
I'm
you
saying.
what,
Yeah.
I have a remedy for that. So y'all gonna have to watch part 2. You're gonna do part 2 real quick. See how he just willingly surrendered.
I did
He's
not
like willingly surrendered.
Someone down
He's
911.
doing like that.
We're in Lawton, Oklahoma.
So
Down 911.
So check y'all out. We appreciate having Mr. Isaiah as our guest today. His willing surrender, right? Y'all make sure that you compliment at least 10 people a day because you never know whose life you can change. You never know whose vibration you can raise up, and you never know what door of opportunity can be opened up by simply paying a compliment. And if you get anything from this video, this will be my nugget, and I'll let him close out with his nugget, and then we're gonna roll into part 2.
My nugget is
false
gold. Fool's gold. Fool's gold. That's what they call it. You got a real nugget. I got a fool's nugget.
You got a.
You know what I mean?
Well, I forgot my nugget now because.
Oh, my bad. Think about it. Take a minute.
You just have to do your food skull nugget. Now it's gone. Now it's just gone.
Wow, my bad. I'm sorry about that.
Just,
I don't have one. That's what I was saying. I don't do this regularly. So
thank
you have a
Cedric.
routine.
Peace, love, and light. He says with gratitude.
Who?
With gratitude. Cedric. He said with gratitude for the messages. Just say hi, Cedric.
Peace.
Yes. Hi, Cedric.
Yeah.
See, I'm gone with my nugget now.
Okay, let me see if I can find one.
Do your nugget.
Okay, I got a nugget.
Yeah.
Never break bread with a bird. Never conversate with a snake. Never share your cheese with a rat. And don't hang around pigs because pigs soon become hogs and hogs get slaughtered.
I don't know how that helped me remember what I was going to say, but what I'm going to say is do not allow others indoctrinated beliefs. Do not allow others indoctrinated beliefs to keep you in the position of that first monkey. Just because you stepped out once and you got wet and that water was cold, don't be afraid to go through the water and get that banana, because guess what? That last monkey that came in, that went through the cold water, that went through the adversity, that was not afraid, that got that banana, he eating your banana. Quit letting people eat your bananas unless you're happy with that. And so with that, I'm out. Make sure you guys sign up for my class, my magic words. I will have all the new times on. I've already taught the class twice. I'm going to be doing it for a discounted price for a limited time. You guys got to come and get this knowledge on this class. I promise you, you will love it and enjoy it. And I might even can ring Mr. Isaiah in once I make him take my class. So you guys make sure that you come to my magic words class, get these lessons, get these blessings, and any nugget, anything else? That's it. We out.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, we out, y'all. We'll see y'all in part 2. We're going to talk about this trust for a hot minute and see what comes out. Love y'all. Heart emojis to the world. Okay.
See, I don't do all
See, we still record. See that?